Amanda Stoker. It's 19 days until the 1st of July. It's interesting to see that Anastasia Palaszczuk has moved from the September maybe to the I have no idea to I agree with the Prime Minister when it comes to July. What do you think the chances are that the people who want the certainty will get it sooner rather than later about when this border comes down?
Look, I don't think the Premier knows when the borders are going to be open because she changes her mind every second day. I mean, let's look at her record on this. She's started out saying that it's about flattening the curve, then it became about eradication. First it was just short term, then it was September, then it was back to July. Now we're looking good for July, whatever that means. She needs to get serious here. There are people's livelihoods that are resting on the need for certainty. Now, I'd like to see those borders opened up today, but if that can't be done, particularly as we wait to see whether or not we've got an enormous outbreak arising from the irresponsibility of 30,000 people in Brisbane City at the weekend, then at the very least, set a date so that people can plan. Set a date so that tourism businesses can start to take bookings. Set a date so that people can start making plans to get domestic tourism happening again, because we know that right where you are, Coolangatta and the rest of the coast, that represents about 40% of the economy, and that's an awful lot of jobs, that's an awful lot of businesses that are waiting on the Premier's flip-flops. What we can do is hold their feet to the fire, and one way is to call out the Premier for what was just a blatant lie. There is an enormous gap between what the Prime Minister's saying and what Premier Palaszczuk is saying. There has never been a recommendation from National Cabinet for the closure of the borders. There has never been medical advice from the Chief Medical Officer of this country that we needed to close the borders. So let's not pretend, Premier Palaszczuk, that this is what's necessary. Here's the thing that worries me most about this, Paul. And what worries me most is that Premier Palaszczuk knows she is absolutely choking our economy by having these borders shut.